Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Football Manager here with Pirin Blagoevgrad here in Bulgaria, as we are now in the top division of Bulgarian football, and we're about ready to embark on our debut match. And this is from the club's official YouTube channel, so I will try to include the link down in the description of the video. And it's kind of on the tour bus because we're on the road. So let's go ahead and start our journey. All right, now that we have arrived at Spartak Varna on the road for our debut match in the top flight of Bulgarian football, we are going to take a brief look at the club where we did make one more signing, and that's because we had a couple of injuries. Right? Not Ivanov because he wasn't really good at play. That one we're not really super worried about. But we did sign Preslav Petrov out of free tracer, 29-year-old center back. Maybe we would have signed him anyways, and try to get a sixth center back to make sure we had one backup for each of the three. However, the main reason that we signed him was because our defensive midfield and our center backs are going to be gone for a little while. Alexander Bliznakov, who is also our captain, had a slipped disc and is going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. That's the kind of thing that I would think might linger, all right, as he overexerted himself in the weight room. And then we had, who else got hurt? There we go. Patientov got hurt with a sprained knee, so 7 days to 2 weeks. So, we don't have a ton of depth in the midfield, and we had some depth at the center back position, right? We had 5, but then we went down to 4, so I was like, oh, God, we really need another one. We also were able to re-sign Kazakov to a new contract. So we have Kazakov, Dede, Vasiliev, Bakalski, Georgiev now starting, Zakovic over as the defensive midfielder, Major, Buchev, Bastudov, Ibrahim, and Kostov. I'm pretty sure I freaking registered these people. I really don't understand why you're telling me they're not registered, but okay. We'll register them again. Thankfully, they're going to be eligible to play, apparently. So we're on the road here at Spartak Varna. I'll just say, give the fans their money's worth. It's almost kickoff time in the Prva Liga. You must be excited. I am excited. We're starting our promotion. Now we get to play the level we deserve to be at. Blizzakov misses due to injury. We're obviously missing, but we have to adapt. Do you feel ready? I'm happy with what I've seen. So we did go 2-0-1. We won 2 and lost our last friendly of the 3 friendlies we had. Spartak 1918 Varna. We are going to be wearing, of course, we're wearing all greens. Usually we would wear the green tops with the white shorts, but today we are wearing the all greens. We are good. Nene, one of our free agents, or not free agents, but our transfer window signings on the left wing from Spain, does get a start. Major, of course, from Hungary. Zakovic, I believe, was Macedonian. And then Ibrahim is from Bulgaria. Bastudov also. And then Buchev is the one holdover, from last year's center back period who's actually playing. And he's played because, of course, we had that injury. And you know what? We're going to go defensive. Right? We're getting just dominated here early on with the possession. And again, maybe that's, realistic. But Kazakov up here to Vasiliev. Or Vasilev. I keep calling him Vasiliev. That's my fault. Nice run. Nice run. Probably should have passed, but that was a nice run. That was a nice run. I'm not sure if he actually deserved a goal there, like the game said, but again, they do want us to play possession and quick tempo attack, counter-attacking football, and defensively solid football. And again, that's part of why we went defensive, right? We're on the road. It's the first match in Prva Liga. I don't know that we're really good enough to, be competitive. I just want to not get relegated. That is the only goal I have this season. If we are better than that, right? And if we're able to cause a little bit of an upset and finish more mid-table, that would be amazing. We do have a good youth setup. I do want to try building out through the youth, but we have signed a few veterans just to offset some of the youth, right? And because of the injuries, I didn't, want to necessarily throw a bunch of teenagers right into it. I mean, we're not. I mean, they're definitely getting more shots away than we are. They have 10 to our 4, 3 on target to our 2. We did kind of get into the match a little bit there at the end of the first half. They have 4 quarters. We have 2. They're passing better. We haven't completed a single cross. They do have 3 fouls to our 1. We've outrun them a little bit, and the average rating's about the same. I mean, if you gave me a draw on our opening match today in the Prva Liga, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000% I would take it. Majors that played super well. Nene's not having a great debut. Zakovic at 6.5 is having it all right. Bestudov is really a better defensive midfielder than center back. But that might be something we have to look at depending upon, Bliznikov and his injury. We did, like I said, I think I mentioned we re-signed Kazakov. We do need to try to have some more possession in the second half. But overall, again, a draw on the road would be amazing to start our, campaign in the Prva Liga. Anything beyond that, I'm not even going to really dream about 3 points at this point, but I would definitely take it. I just, we have drawn a little bit closer early on in the second half in terms of shots. Georgiev, Major have all picked up yellows, so unfortunately, Zakovic will go over there, which is where he's actually being trained up. Stoyanov will come in. Oh my God. Actually, no. We will move Bestunov up to the defensive midfield. There we go. Petrov will move straight into the center back. Okay. So that's just really one sub. Major is having really a cracker. Ivanov will come in there. Bakshev will put in because Kazakov is feeling apprehensive. So those are our first 3 subs. Long throw in. Nice deflection there by Zakovic. I mean, they get the ball back, but that was a nice deflection. Centering pass. Falls out. Oh, that's a penalty. That's a penalty. We knocked him down in the box. Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice if Kostev could come through big. It'd be nice if Kostev could come through for us here. I'm not expecting him to, but I mean, if he could, that'd be amazing. He cannot. Chushikov puts it in, and we do fall down 1-0. I mean, again, it's our first match. We have a couple. We have a new set piece coach. We have a new fitness coach. We do have some new players trying to fit into the squad. We are not. We're still not that good. I really don't know what Kostov was doing, but you give up a penalty. That's just gonna be tough, right, to overcome. When we get to about 70 minutes, we'll use up our last two substitutions. Zakovic hasn't played that well, but we don't. Okay, we do have another midfielder, but and Buchev has also played poorly. Okay, I guess. I mean, I don't. Korshikov will come in. He'll get some experience, and then yeah, I guess we'll do that. Because we really can't afford another injury to midfield. So yeah, we'll do that. A 1-0 loss on the road, not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, not what I would have liked, but I do think it'll probably be a little bit of a rocky start, and I do think relegation is going to be hard for us to avoid. Potentially, but, you know, we play competitively. We definitely got dominated in terms of possession. If we were healthy, maybe it goes differently, although I have my doubts about that, but definitely, those injuries did hurt us. And we do fall 1-0 on the road. It was a penalty. We XG 1.37 to 1.15. They had 60 shots for our target. We had 9 and 4. Passes, they were better. We actually ended up completing more crosses. We had more fouls, and good lord, we had one foul and no yellow cards in the first half. We ended up with 9 fouls and 4. So apparently, we decided we were just going to beat the crap out of them in the second half. Yeah, Mikulski was awful at 6.2. Major was also awful. Both of our starting wingers had a 6.2. Like, Mikulski, I'm not super surprised by that because he's not that good. Major, okay, it's his first debut match, right? But would still expect him to play better than that. I thought we played well enough to win, but you can't always win. Today was one of those days. Yeah, we did do everything well enough. Fans, the Bukowski, yeah, we ran out of subs. Like, I don't know what you want me to say there. We ran out of substitutions. Before, like, there's not much I can really do when we only had 5 subs available. I tried because we are down our best midfielder or one of our best midfielders. It was like we can't really afford another injury there. And Zakovic wasn't played that well either, so it's like gotta move on from him. So 10 league run is over. What's does the new run starts right now. Major had a horrible start. Yeah, wasn't great, but I wouldn't be worried about his performances just yet. I mean, it was bad. There's no doubt. It was awful. So we do have a week before our home opener. I'm going to check the time on the recording and see if we have time for a 2-part episode. Again, we do want to try to build out through the youth academy. We had a really good youth intake last time. So in the future, don't know. Depending upon how long I'm here, right? If we get relegated, I think I'll probably leave. Um, I don't know if I'd get fired or not because it says the goal is to attempt to avoid relegation. But I don't want to necessarily want to go back down to the second league and then have to come back up again. If we're able to avoid relegation and we stay up, then there's a reasonable chance that I stay up. Now, one of the things that is going to determine that, however, I will say here in year 2, is I need to be able to get a coaching course at some point. They rejected it during the summer, so I need to be able to get a coaching course. And especially if we stay up. Like if we stay up, whether it's by 1 point, goal differential, or we win the league, which that's not going to happen, but you know what I mean. Then we need to be able to improve some facilities. We need to be able to improve some facilities, right? To say, okay, we stayed up, we survived relegation, we're going to be back up in the top flight for a second straight year. We've got to invest in the club. And if the board won't do that, and I don't know if that's a training facility or a youth facility or improving the youth, academy coaching and the recruitment, whatever, right? That's what's honestly going to be a big difference for us, moving forward. So we've got Levski, at home, Lokomotiv, Botiv, Arda. Again, just very quickly, and this probably means it's only going to be a one match episode. But I did want to see. All right, we have 14 teams, 26 matches. You play each other twice. The top 8 go into the second phase, or the top 1 through 4 go to the championship. 5 through 8 go to the second phase. Then the bottom 6 go to the relegation phase, where 6th gets automatically relegated, 5th gets into the playoff. I mean, I'd be fine with that. Like, if we finish 5th, that's fine in this. Not sure why is this a green link? What does this do? Okay, so the points do go forward. Wait. Huh? Okay, so that doesn't. Right. Okay, so this is just overall. Yeah. So it doesn't tell you how much money you get, from the league, and I mean you probably don't get a whole lot, but. So we have 25 matches. Ludogorets, I think, is probably going to dominate, the Bulgarian scene as it does in real life, although I think they finally lost in real life. I saw a video about that, and I'm going to watch that. So, yeah, a disappointing, way to start, but can we see the, okay, season preview, there we go. That's what I was looking for earlier. I mean, not really a surprise. Dunav, lost their playoff chance to come up, so we are the only team from the second division that came up. All right, so not a big surprise, right? Not a big surprise, but that we're predicted to finish 14th. I'm actually going to go in here to our responsibilities because I seem to still have a difficult time of training our youth. And yes, youth training, take control of all. I feel like I've done this before. But now I'm going to be able to trade up our youth, and hopefully that leads to players who can come through the academy, and when they come up to the senior squad, they'll be more ready to play and participate in the roles we want them in. We won't do all of that on camera. That's going to be an off-camera thing. And again, we have a home match against Varna. We don't expect to be very good. Okay, Levski is actually predicted to be very good. Okay. 26, yeah, okay. Definitely probably going to lose there. Again, just the goal is to not finish in 14th. Finish in 13th, beat a team from League Two to stay up. I would take that. That is good enough. So I do think we're going to have a lot of losses, especially early on in the season, but hopefully we have enough quality to survive, and if not, that it's believable, right? That it's believable, right? Sometimes football manager, I feel like we have that 10 match unbeaten run to secure the league title. I don't know how believable that is. I mean, it happens, but anyways, I'm kind of rambling. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you're all doing well, and I will talk to you all later.